Hi, we're excited to share our work, Can Vision Language Models Understand Mimed Actions? A major part of how we communicate is actually done non-verbally. Whether it be fidgeting, stretching out a hand for a handshake, or frowning, we use nonverbal communication both consciously and unconsciously through cues such as gestures, facial expressions, and body language. Nonverbal communication, NVC, is a crucial substitute to verbal means when verbal modes of communication are limited for people with hearing or speaking impairments or cross-lingual settings. It's also important to use NVC appropriately to make interactions more engaging and natural. And NVC is also known to reflect true intent when it contradicts what is verbally expressed. Clearly, this cat is unhappy despite saying thank you. It's clear then that for these reasons, understanding NVC would be important for AI systems to become more effective and accessible assistants. But studying NVC in general is an overly ambitious goal because its scope is large, and there's high variability in how it is interpreted among individuals and cultures. For example, a thumbs up is not always a friendly gesture. So to make a meaningful step towards NVC understanding, we want a task to study that has a clearly defined scope and also low interpretation variability, so that even when observed by different people, it's interpreted the same way. A subset of NVC that meets this criteria is Mime. Mime is a theatrical technique of suggesting intent with gesture, expression, and movement. It's a great starting point because understanding mimed actions requires a robust understanding of human gestures, usually without relevant context, like motion to kick a ball without a ball, still should be interpreted as kicking a ball as shown here. And also, many mimed actions are explicit embodied movements, which means they have low interpretation variability. So as an important stepping stone for establishing whether AI systems meet the prerequisite of having a robust understanding of human gestures that's necessary for understanding the broader scope of MVC, we asked the research question, can AI systems recognize mimed actions? By AI systems, we mean vision language models in this work. To answer this question, we create a video-based question answering benchmark called Mime, which stands for Mime Identification Multimodal Evaluation. Mime is a collection of animations of mimed actions that is created by using motion capture data of mimed actions and using 3D graphics software to render a variety of variations to enable a systematic study of robustness. Here's a sample in Mime of a male character miming a basketball shot in a living room. Mime has two evaluation formats, freeform and multiple choice. Freeform is more challenging because it doesn't provide any context, while the options in multiple choice format help narrow things down. For freeform, an answer is considered correct if the cosine similarity of the sentence embeddings between the prediction and the goal label exceed a threshold of 0.5. To construct Mime, we start with collecting motion capture data with Vicon. The motion capture data is then imported into a 3D graphics software called Blender and mapped onto a 3D character. Then we use GPUs to render video frames with a transparent background, and then overlay these frames over various background images. This process leads to 10 different variants in Mime. Our base setting is using a male character with a smart, casual outfit in a blank background. We can adjust the camera angle to create videos with varying viewpoints that include different body parts. We can also replace the character with a female character and an adversarial character. We can also examine how much relevant context helps by adding a background that is relevant to the mimed action, while we can do the opposite to see how much an unrelated background confuses a model. Through this process, we get 860 videos with 86 videos for each of the 10 variations. There's 47 action types in Mime, which is fewer than the number of videos because each action can be acted out in multiple ways. For example, pushing can be done with different intensity to show how heavy the object being pushed is. The motion capture data is collected by two actors, one non-professional Asian male and one professional European female. First, we make sure that Mime is a tractable task by measuring human performance. We ask 60 participants who have no prior knowledge about the task to complete half of each variation, so that we end up with 3 annotations of each sample in Mime. You can see the interface for our participants on the right. We find that humans achieve almost perfect accuracy regardless of variations in the evaluation format, confirming that Mime is a tractable task that's reasonable for us to expect VLMs to do well on if they share the same level of understanding of human gestures. Now that we know Mime is a tractable task, we evaluate a wide variety of models in Mime. For open weight models, we evaluate on Qwen 2.5 VL, 3 billion, and 7 billion models. 5.5, and intern VL 2.5. For black box API models, we evaluate on GPT-4o Mini and Gemini 1.5 Flash. Here are the results on the base setting. We see that all models struggle even with the base setting, and that the drop in performance from multiple choice to freeform is a lot bigger than what's seen for humans. This suggests that models rely on the context from the options to make correct predictions. If we provide more context with a background that is relevant to the mimed action, we see significant boosts in performance. Again, this suggests that VLMs have a shallow understanding of the mimed action as they need to rely on explicit contextual information. The shallow understanding of VLMs are further demonstrated by the drop in performance when an adversarial background is provided. When we replace the character with an adversarial sci-fi character wearing a spacesuit, we see a minor drop across the board for most settings, showing a similar trend. Given the poor performance of these VLMs, we wonder if we can improve on their zero-shot performance with existing methods. First is chain of thought, where we tell the model to focus on the action only and describe it in detail, and then predict the mimed action. Next is few-shot in-context learning, where we provide 3 examples for the model to learn from in context. Here we show the representative results with GPT-4o Mini and Gemini 1.5 Flash. We see that chain of thought and few-shot leads to improvements in multiple choice format for both the base setting and the most challenging adversarial setting. But this improvement is not consistent in the freeform format, where accuracy remains below 10%. Why do VLMs fail so miserably on Mime? We manually examine the chain of thought processes by Gemini 1.5 Flash, taking it as a proxy of what VLMs are observing, and categorize them into different modes of failure. For the base setting, we see that the description of the mimed action is completely incorrect in about 16% of cases. But there is hope. In about 53% of cases, the observation contains some correct description, and in about 13% of the cases, the description is correct, but it is interpreted incorrectly. In this example, the pushing motion is correctly described, but is not interpreted as a mimed action, and so is predicted as someone falling down. When examining the descriptions for the variations that is given a relevant background, we see that more than 37% of cases that were originally incorrect become correct predictions because of the information provided by the context. This suggests that despite the instruction to only focus on the action, Gemini is still leveraging contextual information to generate its description. We discover the same pattern when an adversarial background is provided that leads to the opposite effect of producing wrong descriptions. That's all for now. Today, we've presented Mime, a video-based question answering benchmark that evaluates mimed action recognition robustness, a crucial milestone towards understanding the broader scope of nonverbal communication by measuring whether VLMs have the necessary robust understanding of human gestures. We find that humans achieve almost perfect accuracy on Mime regardless of variation and evaluation format, while VLMs struggle even with the base setting. VLMs demonstrate only a superficial understanding of mimed actions, as they achieve significantly higher performance in the multiple choice format and when they are shown relevant background, while getting much lower performance in a free-form format and when they are given adversarial context. Simple methods like chain of thought and few-shot in-context learning show improvements in multiple choice format, but not for free-form, and the chain of thought descriptions show that most failures are attributed to VLMs not generating correct description of human actions. For more details, check out the paper, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.